Hi, everyone. Welcome to Navigating New Narratives. I'm Cheyenne, and this is,
And I'm Raynell.
and thank you for joining us today. Today we have a very special guest. Her name is CJ. She is somebody that I have known for many years. I've known her family for many, many years, and she has been a part of the underground, her and her family. And we have been supports for each other throughout our lives. And she's been through a lot of things, and she's coming not from a personal experience lens with addiction. I think a little bit, but not too much. It's more, she's going to more be letting us know about what it's like growing up in that type of environment. So CJ, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. And I'm going to just open up the floor for you to just kind of let us know why you're here. What kind of things have you experienced in your life that you feel like being on this podcast can help people understand?
Okay. Hi. It's kind of awkward. I've been through a lot, like you said.
Yeah.
It's like crazy though. Lost so much people, family from overdose. Can't even count them on my fingers anymore. So yeah, there's a lot that's happened, and I can talk about a lot. I don't. Do I have to get into that already now or no?
No, if you don't want,
We
go ahead, Raynell.
Yeah, if you want, we can just ask you a couple questions. It might be easier to answer questions than trying to just free flowing from your experience. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, so I'll start with the question. So can you share what it was like growing up in a family that was affected by addiction?
Okay. It was like I grew up be pretty like pretty like ghetto street in like Kurt County Park area. The house was safe, but it was always people coming and going, and like I never knew why as a kid. Is Till I grew up, I realized is like a lot of drugs just going in and out, and it continued until up until like last year. Everyone got sober, but I was just last year, basically my whole life, seeing that people having to be like called the cops on and sent to the hospital. It is bad. But like there was my grandma was sober and she'd protect us. She'd keep us safe. That's who I lived with at 6 years old. Because my mom went to jail and we lost the house because she went to jail. But it was it was a lot.
Definitely. That could be a lot
It
for
kind yeah.
that could be a lot for anybody, never mind a 6-year-old, to go through. And um yeah, very difficult. And I'm happy you had your grandma there. I know your grandma really well. Your grandma's a great woman. Um, that's good that you got to go and live there. Can you tell us kind of like what it was
Hmm.
like with the transition? Like once you moved in with your grandma, did things get a little bit better for you at that point?
Yeah, they did. Like, she'd take us out and there wouldn't be much people around, but then when her kids would come around and there was four of them in and out throughout the months, like we'd see them like every few other days, and when they would come around, it was like they were high and asking for money, and like I didn't know why I felt bad for them. And until I grew up, I realized the addiction like was so bad.
Do you,
But
oh, sorry, go
it
ahead.
was okay with my cooking. It was okay with my cooking. My grandma, that's how you say cook, grandma in Ojibwe.
Yeah. Do you
But
think, do you think
yeah,
that seeing that growing up, because now you're older now, do you think seeing that growing up now you have a better sense of like compassion and empathy towards individuals that suffer from addiction, or was it, or is it something that like maybe you acquired later on, like, and didn't understand at first? Like what are your thoughts about that, like about the disease of addiction, seeing it so much growing up? Like did it turn you, and did it turn you like away from um it, or did it make you feel more compassionate towards it? Like there's kind of two different separate ways that you can.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was more compassionate after. Like I grew up seeing my mom be sick, and like when she was like didn't have anything, and she'd be laying around, and I'd cook her like instant food that I knew how to make as a kid, and make her coffee, and then like so like I kind of knew after seeing stuff laying around as a kid. So I was a pretty smart kid. I knew a bunch of stuff.
You had to grow
But
up pretty quickly, for sure.
yeah, yeah, it made me way more compassionate though. Like I'll still give people like $5 to few cents if like whatever I have on change on me whenever I see people asking for money, because like they're saying they're hungry, but some days you don't know. Like $5 isn't gonna buy them much, so they can buy food with that or something.
Yeah. I
But
think
like,
it's, oh, go ahead.
sorry, it's
It's
just like
okay.
yeah, it made me way way more compassionate towards it, because when they when people are suffering like that, they can't really help themselves. Like the addiction has a hold on them. Like most know, yeah.
Right.
You can say what you want to say now.
I was just gonna say that from everything that you've experienced from an early age, I think it's a really beautiful thing that you side on the side of compassion for individuals that are struggling because you've seen it firsthand, right? So it can always go from one extreme to the next, right? Um you could have went in a way of like resentment and hurt, but you don't because you've seen it firsthand and you were there for your family in that situation, which is difficult, right? So I think it's a beautiful thing for yourself and for our listeners to hear like siding on the side of compassion is a beautiful thing to do when you come from a lens of understanding, which is what we're trying to provide um our audience with is just different perspectives from different people. So I want to say even just at the beginning here, like thank you for sharing this. I know it must be difficult. And like it's inspiring to me to have you here sharing these things. So thank you.
Yeah, I want to say that too.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing this. When I had asked if you would come on, you immediately said, yeah, for sure. Like I would love to. And I was surprised because getting to know you throughout my life, I know that you were a very introverted kind of person who kept to herself and had a hard time trusting people, which maybe has stemmed from the things that you experienced in your life. And I know that the things that you experienced must have affected you in a negative way. But for you to come on here and then say, that it took you on the path of compassion, regardless of the hurt that it may have caused you growing up, that shows such a commendable character trait and such a commendable heart that you have. So I think that's beautiful. I think that's great that you were able to say that and for the listeners to hear that. Do you want to cut? You said so. You mentioned at the beginning that you lost a lot of people to overdose, that you can't even, count on on two hands how many of your family members. Are there any of those that you want to speak on that maybe meant a lot to you or like affected you in any way?
Oh yeah, like about my uncle and my mom. Like those losses are really hard. Like my uncle just his 1 year anniversary is coming up in what 3 days, and then my mom's been gone for over 5 years and a few months. It's like it's hard, yeah, but I understand why now, anyways, because she went through a lot, my mom herself, and I kind of understand too why she went to the drugs because there was like nothing else helping her feel better at all about anything else. It's just like she didn't know what to do to help herself. And also my uncle Jordy too. Like I'd talk to I talked to him a lot. Like and he talked to me a lot as a kid too. And he'd be sitting there and he messed up some days and just sad. And I'd listen to him as a kid. Nobody else would be sitting at a table with him some days. But yeah, me and my uncle are really close. And him passing away was so unexpected, but like also kind of expected because the way things were going at the time.
And you had
I
mentioned,
think I'm
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say like I think I'm like kind of numb to like the amount of deaths now because there's been so much. It's just kind of sad saying, I know, but it's true.
You know what? I can relate to that as well. And right now, I think you were about to say something. Or-
Yeah, I was also just gonna mention that I think like Cheyenne just said, we all can relate to that feeling in different ways because the number of overdoses that we're experiencing in Cheyenne and my generation is just like absolutely unbelievable, right? And your family members fall into the category of our age group as well. And it's it's actually like really heartbreaking when it gets to the point where it's like you hear of another somebody that we knew who have passed away. When it gets to the point where it's like it's I used to cry every time I heard about one of my friends that had passed away, and that's um and I feel horrible saying this too, but when I hear it now, it's like I'm just it's it almost seems normal, and that's a horrible situation that society is in right now. Like, how can that be acceptable news? Like, something needs to change. Like, something needs to change. This is devastating and it's unnecessary when there's so much science and proof pointing the direction of ways that could potentially work or ways that we could try differently, but nothing's changing, and we're getting the same outcome, which is overdose and death and stigma,
Right.
so
Hmm.
um it's sad, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's really difficult, CJ.
So sorry. And it's like I feel like I I relate to it in a way where like you're saying like that's your mother. Like that's like the closest person that could possibly ever be to you and your uncle, somebody that you said is like was like your rock. And when you said that you got numb to it, I relate to that in a way where it's like that's trauma and I have gotten to the point where I'm numb to trauma. Like where you've gone through so much for so long that it almost is like armor that you put on to protect yourself. And the numbness is just it's because your body just can't take it anymore. Like it just the trauma is just so overwhelming that you just can't even, um yeah, you can't even feel the feelings anymore. Like there's just no more of you to give. And that's so sad. And I think that from what I know, is that you're healing, or you're attempting to heal, which is beautiful. I'm attempting to heal too. Raynell is attempting to heal. We're all attempting to heal. And it's not just the people who were addicts that needed to heal, but the family members as well. And I think it's beautiful that you're really trying to do that as well. I think Raynell has a really good question for you that she had prepared too, that if you wanted to ask one of those questions, some of them are,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, one of the other questions that I can ask is, like, what advice would you give to others growing up in a similar situation right now?
Ooh, like you just gotta stay strong and like you gotta stay strong for your family too, the ones who are struggling, because even even though if you are like going through that right now, and it's like I know I have friends who are going through that right now, and it's, like I tell them they gotta take care of themselves and put themselves first some days. Like I could say a lot. My brain's going foggy right now. I'm sorry. Also, like I was in counseling for like 5 years. Counseling helped me a lot, and like you gotta find a good person to talk to about a bunch of stuff, and it'll help out. Like I understand some people don't have those resources at all, so
I know you
like you gotta talk to somebody though. Yeah.
definitely. I know you said that two of your family members are sober now. Did you want to talk about that? Like that's amazing. How long has that been going? Like you said, it's been almost a year that they've been sober.
Yeah, my auntie, she's been sober for, yeah, like almost over a year. She messed up like 1 week, but she's sober.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
This is the last year she messed up, but she's fine. She's good.
Oh, well, that's so awesome. And
And she was,
oh go,
sorry.
oh go ahead. Go ahead, talk.
Auntie, she was like really big on the streets, and she was out there for like almost 2 decades, almost maybe a decade and a half, because it's like basically almost my whole life. And it was crazy. But also, her brother, my uncle, he's been sober for almost 2 years. I think almost 2 years, around there. But that's really good, yeah.
It's amazing.
It's incredible to be able to see both ends of the spectrum, right? Like you see you've grown up with watching these people in these really difficult situations, behaving in ways that you might have not understood at the beginning, and then to watch them transform. And what an inspiration to be witnessing that, right? And how beautiful is it to have watching your family go a different route, right? I know that you'd mentioned that there was a relapse basically there at one point, but that's a part of people's journeys, and that's okay, right? And
Yeah.
she didn't let it bring her down. She just got back up and kept going, and that's a part of a lot of people's processes and journeys. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. I just want our listeners to also know, like, when situations like that happen, that's nothing to be ashamed of. Like, you embrace that as part of your journey and your experience, and um it's a beautiful thing to be able to keep moving forward, and for you to watch that within your family. What a lovely thing.
Definitely. And I commend
Yeah.
her because if I like, I don't know, like if I ever slipped, like I'm like an all or nothing kind of person. I don't know. Like that takes a lot of strength to slip and just get right back up. Like that's amazing. That's so commendable. So, let your auntie know that, well, we all know I know who your auntie is, but tell her that I love her and I'm so incredibly proud of her and the accomplishments because you're right. She was the streets. Like she that
Yeah.
so for her to get out of the
Yeah.
streets for this long, I am awestruck and talk about an inspiration. Like, you know, everybody's story is such an inspiration. You're such an inspiration. Like you're now an adult in like legally an adult and legally able to make your own decisions now. And you choose, I know you told me today, I'll be at work until 4 o'clock. So then we can do our podcast at 6. So, you're choosing a beautiful life for yourself as well. And um choosing a different path from what you have seen growing up. So it made you not only choose a different life, but it made you empathetic to those that hold that life. And yeah, it just made you a beautiful person. Like you know that I love you so much and I love your whole family so much. So I just really want to commend you on why don't you tell us like what are your like what are your what are you doing? Like what are you doing for work? I don't even know.
Like I'm basically a farmer because it has the word farming in the program. But I'll
Oh,
get 2 credits for it, and I get like $120 a day
nice.
working 7 hours. Yeah.
That
That's incredible.
that is incredible. That's a lot of money. That's awesome. That's so cool. Um, so I guess another question that I would want so I know you know a lot of the kids that come to the underground and a lot of them go through a lot of the similar situations as you. Um, and some of them don't go down a good path, some of them choose a different kind of path. Which is understandable. I understand that. But
Mhm.
if you were to speak to yourself back when you were like, I don't know, say like 9 or 10 years old and you were going down the wrong path, is there something that you would want to say to yourself, just your future self, to tell you like how life is going to turn out later on?
I wasn't 9 or 10 going down the wrong path. I think I was like 13 up to 16 going down the wrong path.
Yeah,
But like I turned that around because like I want to tell my like 13-year-old self to stay home, stop like just trying to numb the pain with stuff that isn't numbing it but making it worse. Like drinking, like I'll admit I'm an alcoholic. Yeah. I'm trying to like get over it and I've been better though, yeah, for sure. Been busy, so
that that's really good
it's been
advice.
okay though. Yeah. I could say more though. It's like
Yeah,
I'd tell my 13-year-old self to have way more respect and just listen to people older than you because people older with like who made wiser choices, they know what they're talking about and they just want to be there for you.
right. I have a question.
Yeah.
Um, when me and you first started talking, when I had told you that I had lived experience and that I knew your family, was that something that allowed you to open up easier? Because me and Raynell talk a lot about the fact that when you have when you have a counselor or you have somebody that you want to speak to, it's it it almost like knowing that they have the same experiences as you and that they understand you on a different level, that helps a lot. Right now, can you like help me clarify what I'm trying to say here, like about that?
Yeah, so what I can do in this regard is just like talk about like my own experience. I've talked about this on a previous podcast, but I'll bring up from my experience when I was in active active substance use is I tried to go see counselors, and a lot of them I felt like were just like judging me until it got to a point where I was working with a worker who shared with me that she had lived experience. And even at that point, it took me a little while to trust her and build rapport, but I was more willing to do that with someone who I knew had been through it and wasn't judging me because they'd been there too. So,
Yeah. So is
I
that
guess the question that Cheyenne is asking, um, go ahead, Cheyenne.
Oh yeah, no, it's just does that make a difference? Like when you're speaking to somebody about your life or about your struggles, or if you're trying to I know like talking is healing, you know, letting things out, not letting things build up inside. Does it help talking to somebody who has been there and who understands from like a younger point of view, like when you say listen to your elders and listen to the older people, is it helpful that they're the ones that kind of have been through it as well?
Oh yeah, it is because they've lived that life and or they've known people who live that life and they have their own words to say about it. But some people like my counselor, my old counselor I stopped seeing her like maybe 2 months ago, but that was because she was going through another loss. She lost another daughter to overdose. Like she lost two of them now. On the same a day after my uncle passed, actually.
Wow.
I seen her photo in one of your posts. The girl, Megan, her name was.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, her mom was my counselor for a little, like almost over a year, and talking to her, knowing that she went through like this, losing someone to overdose, and knowing like people who are in active addiction and like still trying to get through it. It does help a lot when you talk to someone who relates to you and can understand where you're coming from and listens to you and like just like gives you advice on how to take care of yourself, your mental health, well-being.
That makes me so
And yeah, I help it talk. Yeah, when I was talking to you, it helped too because you knowing my family. Yeah,
yeah, it makes me so happy you found a counselor like that. Like I'm kind of blown away. Like I didn't even think there was counselors like that in Thunder Bay right now. So that's amazing. Like whoever this counselor is, like thank you. You're an awesome individual and yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I
yeah,
think that's a beautiful opportunity that you've had to be led in that direction to find a counselor that you can open up to who has experience in that area who can talk to you where you feel comfortable and understood opening up to. How beautiful is that? And I think it also just goes to show, right? Like um the effects of addiction and hardship affect people we wouldn't even think that it does, right? Cheyenne has mentioned this before that it affects everybody, not just the individual, but the families, right? And um, to hear also what you're just saying that this individual had lost two daughters, that's heartbreaking and that's difficult. So my light and love send out to that individual for sure. That's heartbreaking and that's hard.
For sure. And it goes to show that addiction affects every like I said before, I have yet to meet a family that doesn't have a family member that is affected by addiction in one way, shape, or form. And yeah, it just helps to hear stories from all sides of the puzzle and you're a very important piece of that puzzle, CJ, like a very important piece, you know. There's so many people that get caught up in the life without having it be a choice. Like you were born into it and you were made to navigate around it and came out as a survivor and somebody who, you know, persevered and still has a beautiful soul and a beautiful heart. I know, like, there was a meme that I had shared one time where I put, it's not very impressive for people who have been through hardships to let them, harden them and hurt others, like, because that's an easy thing to do. And I don't judge the people for doing it because I did it at some point. Raynell has done that at some point where you're hurt, you project your hurt onto others. And you didn't do that and you haven't done that. And like I commend you for that. That's beautiful. That's amazing, actually. Um, so is there anything else that you would like to add or say that you think that the listeners or any even adults, not just teenagers or anybody in the audience that may be listening, is there anything that you think that you would want to say that they should know?
I'll get into that in a second, but like what you said is like that I haven't done that. I have like projected my feelings when I was hurt, but like I don't I don't do that a lot. It was just like back then when I was suffering myself and before I got the help I needed.
Right.
Yeah. But um I'm not really too sure what I want to say, but like I know a lot of stuff I could say, but I'm not too sure how to say it if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. This isn't an easy thing to do, trust me, and I understand that. Um, yeah, even do you have any more questions right now that you have that you would wanna that you could ask?
Um, I don't think so. Not that I can think of right off the top of my head.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
Okay. I think that just like kind of a send off to this episode could just be like maybe like a message of, you know, from you just letting people know um maybe if you can just give them a message of how to understand it, like how to understand addiction. Like if there were people out there who um judge judge addiction as a choice instead of a disease, what would you say to those people? Like maybe we can send it off and end it that way, where you can just kind of, from your experiences, um, educate maybe a little bit about how you see addiction within your family, like what you saw growing up and now still to this day.
Okay. Could I talk about something like deep right now for a sec though, before I
Definitely,
get into that?
definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My uncle who's sober now, like maybe over a year ago, I'm pretty sure, maybe back in 2023, around there, he overdosed and in my house and nobody else was here at that time. My cookum just got home. She's freaking out. He was turning blue, but and she's calling for help. She didn't know what to do. She's just frantic. And then I heard her yell for help. I came running downstairs because I always want to help people. But that day, I just told her, give me the phone. And I went downstairs. Before she gave me the phone, I started doing CPR because I knew how to do it. And then I called 911. And they came like within 5 minutes, gave him Narcan. And, like it was crazy. I thought he was dead for a few minutes. But then after he got back up after two Narcan things and like now he's good, like sober now, and that's so crazy to me because I didn't have faith back then, but I wanted to, and I had a little bit of it, but then it all worked out in the end. And anything I want to say to people who just the other day, actually, I seen this, Tent City.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly everyone knows Tent City,
Yeah.
what they call it now. I still call it the Cam River. um, on the bus the other day, going past there, I seen this lady just looking at Ted City and shaking her head, and she was saying something about it. Like you could tell she was judging them. I had my headphones in, I couldn't hear her, but that's just like sad to me. People judge them just because people are suffering. Like there's so much reasons why people end up homeless and why people end up going into addiction. Like you never know what someone's going through. People can be going through the worst stuff ever that you can't even imagine, and you're just judging them for nothing. It doesn't make sense to me. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I find that that happens a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that's a beautiful way to kind of like wrap this up is where we don't know what someone's going through or the circumstances that have led them to where they are, right? Like
Mhm.
you're sharing your story right now, and I just want to acknowledge um how difficult the situation that you experienced last year to be the person giving CPR to somebody who's in that state who has overdosed. Like that is, in my opinion, traumatic every time when I'm in the situation where I also have to do that at my work, especially like experiencing that is difficult. That is hard. And I am so glad to hear that that it ultimately moved your uncle into the life that he's living now. That's kind of like the experience that has happened with me previously is like I overdosed several times until like the last time was the last time that I was going to let that happen and I made a decision to change my life. Um, but also I just like want to acknowledge that there are so many reasons why people are living in that area, and it's not for the first thing that pops into your mind 9 out of 10 times, right? Like we have um so many things going on in this city, but I think the number one thing should be
Mhm.
compassion and understanding. So let's start with that, right?
Yep.
Let's start with compassion and empathy and looking at people that are struggling. Like put yourself in their shoes. That's hard. That's
Mhm.
difficult. Um, so that's kind of just like what I want to say. So thank you so much, CJ, for bringing that up because that is unfortunately how a lot of people ride by those areas and react, right? Instead of being like that's perpetuating the problem instead of like coming to a solution to help humanity in those types of situations, right? We just want
Mhm.
to come from love and understanding and do something to make a positive impact. So
And it's that word right
Can
there.
I talk about
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
on Mother's Day this year? I helped out, got some volunteer hours for this too. But I helped out my great auntie, and she had some leftover food that I made the day before for church service. But it was like soup, good soup that was warmed up, and sandwiches that I made too. We had lots of sandwiches. We went to Tent City, passed them out, and there was like three people that we found out were living with their parents and homeless, which is so sad. But
That's
yeah, I just wanted to say that.
yeah, that's so beautiful that you do something like that and like just have that like I was gonna say the word humanity, like Raynell hit it on the head. Like humanity, like where did we lose that? Like where in society did we lose our ability to treat all humans with respect and and like just compassion? Like we've lost humanity,
dignity.
dignity. I don't know what happened, but we're trying to get it back. That's what me and Raynell are trying to do with this podcast is humanize people. It's so sad. And you and your great auntie bringing the food to the tent city, I'm sure that that meant the world to them. And when people do treat them with humanity and compassion, it gives them a sense of, love and empowers them a little bit in a way. And you never know what little small step you can do to push them in a different, not push, but to guide them in a different direction. Like you never know what that one single moment will be where they say, holy, like maybe I'm going to go and try to get some help, or maybe I'm going to go try and just talk to somebody. Like we never know what small little moments mean to somebody. And it is those small little moments that mean the world to a lot of people. So yeah, so thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. And I think that is there anything else left that you would like to say before we wrap the show up?
Nothing I can think of.
Okay. Well, I want to
One of
go ahead.
Sorry, before we move forward, I just want to say one of the things that Cheyenne and I often say is like stigma steals and support heals,
Right.
right? So it's just showing the kindness in the moment. Like those are the things that make the difference, right? But stigmatizing people steals that opportunity um in all types of ways. So I think we just need to remember that even just saying hi to somebody who's
Right.
struggling when you're walking past,
I
it's just
smile, yeah.
right, those little things. And I've experienced that before when I was in active addiction, right? People would just like give me dirty looks and I'd be like, it would break me down even more. But when somebody noticed me and just said, hi, how you doing? Or have a good day, I'm just like, oh my God, right? My whole day was changed for the better. So like I try to live my life in that kind of perspective always, always to everybody and anybody I see, like I acknowledge them as a human being, right?
Exactly.
Humanity, kindness, empathy, compassion, like treat people with dignity and respect. It's so
Right.
straightforward. I feel like,
It
so
is so
we're just trying to
straightforward.
spread that word.
Definitely. And
Yeah,
that's what it is. Like where support heals and stigma steals, we're trying to tip that into right now it's down here. We're trying to tip it and bring it up to this. And let the support go higher than the stigma, and get it out there. Well, I want to say thank you so much for coming on the show. I know it wasn't easy for you and I know it was difficult. I want to thank you for immediately uh,
Actually,
oh, go ahead.
I have one more thing. I
Go ahead.
wanted to talk about this. I just forgot about it. At school, like the Lakehead Public High School I go to, there'll be like even other every other school and online kids make it a trend to joke about fentanyl or fent, and like it's ugly. It's just bad behavior. It's so immature. And, like online too, I'll see people making fun of it. Like they probably never even knew how hard that is for some people, and it's a joke now to online and to just kids who are privileged enough to never even have to go through that, but it's a joke for what?
Yeah.
It makes me so mad.
Yep. That's another thing. So, yeah, people that are ignorant to it, they do. They make jokes out of it. And they laugh, they judge, they think they think it's a joke. They don't know they haven't the slightest clue how serious a fentanyl overdose is or how dangerous a fentanyl addiction can be, and how it can ruin your life. And yeah, and I hope that a lot of those kids that are privileged see this episode and see our podcast or see things. You know, I hope their parents educate them on the dangers of this because you are not immune. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care what area of town you live in. I don't care who your mom or dad is or what their career is. You are just as immune to becoming an addict as anybody else. Trauma can come in
it
any
doesn't discriminate. Addiction
it
doesn't
does not.
discriminate
It
at
does not
all.
discriminate. Just like mental health does not discriminate. And mental health and addiction go hand in hand. Trauma and addiction go hand in hand. And when you see big, beautiful, nice houses, that look like they're worth millions of dollars, you have no clue what's going on inside of that house. It could look like the perfect picture on the
Mhm.
outside, but the trauma that's going on the inside could be just as bad as anywhere else. So they're not any more immune to it than anybody else. So there shouldn't be any judgment coming from anywhere, in my opinion. I do know that
And
there's
I think I just want to point out from what you just said, Cheyenne, is like, so what she's saying with the big house, like you don't know what's going on inside there. And I think it also goes with any of the houses that are small and you think, oh, like that must be a tricky situation. It could be the most beautiful experience that you've ever seen on the other side. So it's like we can't be and we shouldn't be judging people or areas or whatever's going on there. Of course, there are some areas that are having more difficulties than other, but that's only because people are attracted of looking at that.
yeah,
But when you look at the other areas in the city where you don't wouldn't suspect that that's happening, it's because it's behind closed doors and they have the
Mhm.
ability to hide it better than other people. So it can
right.
happen to anybody, anywhere, anytime, at any age, for any reason. So it doesn't discriminate. And I think it's super important to acknowledge the fact that this can happen and does happen to anybody,
And
always, anytime.
I love the juxtaposition that you did about, it's not just the nice, beautiful houses with something bad going on inside. You can look at the house that looks like, oh, something must be going wrong in that house. And it could be the most loving, beautiful, happiest family in the world going on in there. And people are judging based off of looks or lack of whatever. The judgment can go both ways. So I love that you had made that comparison that, it could, nothing is what it seems. Like I said in that one episode, we are not in a position to judge anybody or anything ever. Like we have never been in anybody else's shoes, and we just need to listen and like empathy is to understand it from their point of view, from their story, not what you interpret their story to be. So, yeah, so I love that. Thank you, Rena. I love that you brought that up. That's an amazing point. Um, yeah. CJ, anything else?
No, I just kind of really wanted to talk about like the stuff that I hear at school or online from kids. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
they don't know nothing.
No, they
And
don't.
my hope is that they never have to, right? So that's
Yeah.
my hope. Um, and but it's unfortunate that that's the exact kind of stigma and like the things that just shouldn't be happening because that it's horrible and it's sad that that's happening. And I just really wish and hope for them that they never have to experience what that looks like. Because like we know a lot of people don't make it out.
Right.
So
Mhm.
I hope they don't have to experience it, but I do hope that they get educated on it
100%.
so that they don't have to.
100%.
Oh yeah. And I think, I saw online Kyle Arnold was going into some schools and he was talking to some students about his life. And I think that's a great program, like to go into schools and like really say like, hey, listen, this happened to me. And doing that I don't know, I guess I don't know the statistics on that on the program and how it's going, but I think that it's a wonderful thing, and I think that it should continue. Um, definitely need to be educated, and if they're not getting educated at home, then they need to get educated at school. So, yeah. So is there anything else that you would like to add?
Um, Not much. Just the I basically said mostly everything that I wanted to.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being vulnerable. Um, we really appreciate you being here. Yeah, and I love you. I love you so much. And Raina, I'll let you I'll let you
Yeah.
close it up as well.
Don't be too
Yeah,
shy.
No.
so sweet. Yeah, CJ, I just wanted to say thank you for being vulnerable with us. I know this is the first time that you and I have really spoken, so I just wanted to say thank you, and I acknowledge the fact that I am new to you, so I appreciate you being open, sharing some really difficult things with me, being here as well. So thank you so much. I also want to just say like how inspirational you are, and I wish you like love and light and all the best things in the world. You're truly an amazing individual. So thank you again for being here with us and sharing with our viewers your journey.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Right. Bye, everyone.